Okay, so we are up and running. I think we are live now because I can see people coming online.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we have a really interesting session. Before we get into the session, my name is Jitesh.
And my name is Srinath.
Okay, so we are IELTS trainers and we're basically here. I think we have some static on the...
Yeah, I think it's the starting issue. So I think as promised in the last slide, we are back with another session for IELTS writing. So this time I think we'll go into the specifics.
Yes. So as I watched your live session last time, it was really interesting. You brought up all the important things that one has to do while writing an essay or to write an essay, and all these things were really important. So today I think we are getting into the specifics, right?
Yeah, so I think we'll go into more detail today, especially the type of essays, and I am
Just task 2, right?
Yeah,
Task 2,
task
right?
2, and in particular we'll go for analytical essays today.
Right, so analytical essay. Why is it called an analytical essay, and what does one have to know when that name is there? When I hear analytical essay, what are the things I should understand and I should know?
So basically in an analytical essay, we are doing analysis. So as the name suggests, it's an analysis. So there's a topic asked, and you have to present an analysis about the topic based on the facts that you know. So that's why it's called an analytical essay.
Okay, so it's basically you have a question, a condition or a statement, and then you analyze it.
Yeah, so we analyze it and we present the points according to the knowledge that we have about the topic.
So to analyze a topic, you need to have two sides.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For any question.
For any question.
Okay. So how many types of questions are there?
So basically, we have 3 types of questions in analytical essays. So the first one is advantages and disadvantages. The second one is causes and solution.
Okay.
And the third one is problem and solution.
Okay. So are we getting in detail about all 3 things or just one?
But before that, let's go into a brief overview of so basically there are 3 types of essays in IELTS writing. So especially task 2. So the first one is analytical essays. So that's the one that we'll be discussing about today.
Okay.
Then there is argumentative essays.
Okay.
So there we have either we have to agree or disagree about something, or maybe we'll be asked our opinion about some topic.
Literally like an argument.
Yeah, so we have to present an argument to the reader about what we feel about the topic.
Okay.
And the third type is a hybrid essay. So that question consists of, that essay consists of 2 parts. So it can be either fully analytical or maybe an analytical and argumentative essay together.
It's a combination.
It's a combination.
Mixture
so,
of
yeah. So it's either we can term it as a hybrid essay, a combination essay, or a 2-part essay.
That's really nice. So today we're not looking at all these things,
No.
just one particular
Yeah.
thing.
So for all, so we'll be handling all the type of essays in the upcoming subsequent lives.
Okay.
But for now, our focus is only on analytical essays.
So basically this session is not only for IELTS students, even for IELTS aspirants who are looking forward to doing IELTS in the future.
Exactly, because writing can be a pain for some people, especially those who feel that they are not up to it, or they feel that they don't get the required ideas when they present some essay. So hopefully this session will help them and help them to write a good essay.
Yeah, thinking is easy, but thinking towards one particular direction is something that you need to practice.
Yeah, that's what.
Right. So we are going to help them towards how to look at it.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into the session, do we have something to tell our viewers?
Yeah, some good news to share about AJINORAH. Yeah.
Right,
And some
so-
exciting times for AJINORAH family.
Yes, so the one important thing, great news is that recently, very recently, our managing director Aji sir was presented with a great award, and that was by World Malayali Council Switzerland.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so he was awarded the Business Excellent for of 2022.
Exciting times.
Yeah, so I think all of us would have might have seen all these things on Facebook and all
Yeah.
the social media, and we were all quite excited, and that is one thing, and I think there is something else that I want to tell.
Some good news for nurses, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's for the nurses. That's we have a nurses recruitment drive happening in Kochi, the head office.
Okay.
So that's we have delegates from the UK coming down to our office, especially for nurses, and the interview is happening for experienced nurses with minimum 1 year of experience, and they have to be. They have to have OET or IELTS with the required scores. Okay, that's UK score.
UK score.
So that is in OET, C plus in writing and B in reading, listening, and speaking, and IELTS 6.5.
6.5 in writing and 7 in all the other 3 bands.
So whoever has these certification, or this exams completed, they can come over to AJINORAH office in Kochi. We have the interview specially for oncology, pediatric, OT, ICU, and CCU nurses who have experience in these settings for over 1 year.
Oh,
and the best part is interview happens on Monday and Tuesday, 14th and 15th.
And I think they'll be getting an offer letter
then and there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's like exciting thing, and the delegates are coming from Healthcare UK, HCA. Okay, so this is going to be a fantastic opportunity.
High profile opportunity.
Yes.
So request everyone to make good use of that.
Yes, so that is going to be fun time.
Okay, so maybe now let's go back to our task.
Let's get back to the business.
So we'll start.
Analytical essay, right?
And I think we have some presentation for that.
Yeah, we can pull it up. So the first one we are going to talk about is what?
So let's go into the
basics. Okay, so we are going to
So
basics.
as I've already mentioned, the type of analytical essays, advantages and disadvantages. It can be also merits and demerits.
Okay, that's another name of advantages.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Same thing.
And then the causes and solution, then the problem and solution. So these are the main types of analytical essays.
Okay, so 3 things:
Yeah.
advantages, disadvantages, problem solution, and cause and solution. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
These are the 3 types of essays that can be asked under the category of analytical essays.
Yeah.
All right.
So first let's go into the basics of an advantage or for that matter any analytical essay. So what's the basic structure of the essay?
So if you ask me what could be the structure, I can just tell you that if it's an advantage and disadvantage, any essay needs to have an introduction.
Yeah.
Right. One body paragraph for advantage and another body paragraph for disadvantage, and a conclusion, obvious.
So that's it. You have got it correct. So the first one is the introduction, and I think we have discussed about this in detail in the previous slide. So how to frame an introduction, what are the parts of an introduction, how to frame a general statement, what is the importance of paraphrasing, and thesis. So I think all these things were discussed in our last slide.
That was really helpful for a person. See, I don't know about everyone. I just sat and watched it, and it was really helpful because I thought in writing an introduction was anything. You just start an essay, you take a pen and you read the question and you think, okay, an introduction, right? And you write anything that you want. But that's not how it is. An introduction has technical sides to it. These are the 3 things that should be there.
And here again I want to reiterate that an introduction, when you write a general statement, it should be relevant to what the topic is asked.
Yes.
So otherwise that becomes a vague statement to address to.
So basically you need to read the question
Yeah.
and then understand what is it about.
What is being asked of you. Yeah.
The subject, main subject of the thing. And then you write a general statement about that.
Yeah.
So the use of that, why do we do it?
So that leads the reader to your topic. So it's actually a soft launch to your topic, to say.
Like introducing.
Yeah, so it introduces the topic to your reader, but not in a detailed way. It's just a generalized introduction for your topic, and it leads the reader to what to expect in your essay.
So if I am a reader of your essay and then I read the first line, I should get a glimpse of the entire thing.
Yeah, so so to say, it's like a trailer of what.
Exactly, trailer is the right word.
If you use a movie metaphor, so that is a sort of a trailer to what your actual essay will be like.
So that is the importance of that.
That is the importance of a general statement. So kindly don't overlook that. So that I would tell all the students or those who are watching this live.
It has to be simple and effective.
Yeah, and relevant.
Relevant is the word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, then body paragraph advantages. So there you have to write 2. Because it's advantages. It's
2 advantages.
2 advantages.
Yeah, not just one.
Not just one. So the body paragraph 2, it's 2 disadvantages, and the 4th one, that lastly you have to write the summary.
Summary or conclusion.
Conclusion, yeah. But that should be a what to say, a gist
Putting
of
it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's a gist of what you have written in a body paragraph.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So the entire essay has to be there.
Yeah, it
in
has
the
to
conclusion.
be there. It has to be. So that shows how effective your points are, or what you have conveyed in your essay.
Yeah, and how effectively you can create sentences about comprehending the entire essay, right?
So this also shows how well you can use different types of sentence constructions, so to say. That doesn't show that you're repeating the same idea in the same sentence
monotonous way of writing.
Yeah, the sentence construction has to be different. So all these are actually evaluated in your writing.
Yeah, you can't say monotonous. That's about speaking. But then it's a flat way of writing. You should not have only one typical type of writing. You should have a mixture of all the sentences. When you say sentences, simple sentences, compound, complex, compound, complex, and if necessary, passive voice and stuff like that. Okay, that is nice.
So I think we'll go on to the.
Yeah, let's. Do we have an example?
Yeah, we have an example.
That's
because that makes the discussion more clearer.
Yeah.
So I think that's a relevant thing.
The practical side of it.
Yeah.
So let's go.
So let's consider this question.
So let me read it. In some cultures, children are often told that they can achieve anything if they try hard enough. What are the advantages and disadvantages of giving children this message?
Okay, so this is a single sentence statement.
Yeah.
So let's now go to the negative side. Where can you make a mistake here in your perspective?
Right. So let me read it. In some cultures, children are often told that they can achieve anything if they try hard enough. So you can completely concentrate. See, there are chances students forget about. This is about someone telling the children. Yeah. The effect of the sentence or effect of the things that are told to the children, and what particularly they can achieve anything if they try hard. So our point, 2 things one has to remember. It's about children. Believing they can achieve anything if they try hard. So we have to concentrate on that. Anything you write outside this can go wrong, right?
And maybe some people will focus on culture and its importance for children.
Oh yeah.
A big misleading statement.
Yeah, so if I write in Western culture, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong. So
if I start a sentence like in a Western culture, that could be wrong.
That could be wrong. So that's where many people or many students have a difficulty. So that's why it's always emphasized that you have to read the question and reread the question properly.
Oh, yeah. So comprehending the question, having a clear, deeper understanding about the question
very
is
essential.
Essential. Okay.
So let's go for a model introduction.
That'll be awesome. So we have an introduction here. So positive reinforcement among children helps in reaping rich dividends in their personal life as well as career. In some societies, children are encouraged to perform their best in all tasks by giving them the message that hard work can give them results in any situation. There are some advantages in giving children this message, as it helps them to gain self-confidence in handling any complex situations, but it also has some demerits in making them overconfident and susceptible to failure. Okay, so that is a very awesome introduction. If anybody reads it, they're like, wow, that's good.
So I believe this addresses the introduction part. So the first statement obviously is the general statement, the first
Okay,
sentence.
so can you just tell me what is a general statement? Can you just mark it?
So that
It starts
would be
from, it is, I think we have to select it here. Wait a second. No, here. Can you just tap on it? Yes. Yeah, and select the pen. The other one. I think we can select the pen here. No, I think it is. Wait a second. Okay, now I think we can do it. Right, so we can just take the pen.
no, we can. I think we have to go back to
go
the slide.
back.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so I think we have to select it first. No, we have to select it here.
No, I think we can just skip that.
Can we do it? Oh yes. So now we have the pen.
I think you can just mark that.
You
Just-
do it. All right. So
Okay,
from there
so
till
this
here.
is the, yeah.
Positive reinforcement among children helps in reaping rich dividends in their personal life as well as career.
So this is what a general statement that we have devised here for this particular essay. So this is just a guideline, so as to say.
Yeah,
This is
so
just a guide.
basically it talks about giving positive information.
Positive encouragement to children. Yeah, so that helps them to perform well in their personal life as well as career. So as to say, that leads to the topic that is being asked.
Okay, so that is an great example for writing.
Yeah. So then we are going to paraphrase the question, and that will be here in this
so
part.
paraphrase. What exactly is paraphrasing?
So paraphrasing is you're giving them the topic, but in a different way, using different words.
You understand the question, write it in your own words without altering the
meaning of
it.
that is what is paraphrasing.
So,
and please be careful that you're not using the same words as in the question.
Yeah. So you have to change it.
Yeah.
In your own
So
words.
here the value of synonyms comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this part of the introduction is what we call the thesis statement. Yeah. So here we have tried something different in this thesis. So we have since it's an advantage disadvantage question, so we are giving the advantages that we are probably going to address in this, not probably, we are going to address in this essay, as well as the disadvantages, but we are not going to explain anything about that.
Okay.
So that will come in our body paragraphs. So this is just like a brief intro to what's going to come.
Okay, so it says there are some advantages in giving children this message, as it helps them to gain self-confidence in handling any complex situations. But now that is the disadvantage part.
Yeah.
It also has some demerits in making them overconfident and susceptible to failure. So that means basically you're going to address both advantages and disadvantages in the coming paragraphs. That's great. Now let's move on.
So now the next part. So let's do some brainstorming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so let's do some brainstorming for this possible ideas for this essay.
Yeah,
And,
so
when you look at this topic, so what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
basically let's narrow it down. It talks about giving children an idea that they can achieve anything if they work hard. So the first thing, a kid feels that I have no limits.
Yeah.
Right. A kid gains strength and a positive belief. We can sum it as confidence.
Yeah, that is the exact thing. So that is the most obvious point that we can make, right?
Okay.
So it gives children self-confidence and motivation to counter any complex situation in life. So it makes them self-assured about themselves.
Yeah.
So another point, maybe it helps them plan different stages in their life.
So if they are confident enough, they can. It helps them plan.
So they make different, so as to say, goals in their life. At what age they want to achieve that goal, and maybe what task they want to achieve in a particular age.
Yeah.
So that makes them, again, it improves
To organize.
they makes them more organized in their life.
All right. And what is the third point?
Makes them ambitious.
Oh yeah, so when they have confidence, they'll
So-
start dreaming.
Sky is the limit for them.
Yeah.
And
Last
the
point
last
is,
point prevents them from getting distracted.
yeah, so from an early age, if I have a dream, an ambition to
Yeah.
become something great or someone great,
Yeah.
I would always stick on to that path, working towards that.
Yeah.
Right.
So mostly, what we see is that children get into bad habits because they don't have a particular goal, or
Yeah.
maybe they don't have a particular ambition, or they feel that life is, so as to say, worthless for them.
yeah.
Just to be spent doing unnecessary things.
Be
But-
alive.
Yeah, be alive. So maybe this will help them to be more focused.
Yeah.
So as to say, and then helps them to prevents them from getting distracted.
That's awesome. So these are the advantages
Yeah,
of
so-
making children believe
Yeah.
that they can do anything.
So these are the possible ideas. There can be more,
Yeah, obvious.
but just a glimpse of what can be written.
Yeah.
Can be written
This essay can be this way.
this way.
That's
so
all.
This is so any 2 points will suffice in this essay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you don't need 4. You can
No.
just take any 2.
Any 2.
All right.
So now let's go for the disadvantages, right?
Okay. So possible ideas for body paragraph 2.
So
Disadvantages.
obvious one would be
If one is confident, he can be
overconfident.
simple as that.
Simple as that, and they may undertake tasks which is not possible to be completed. There's a typo, I think.
Yeah.
That is impossible, actually, not possible, which is impossible for them to be.
That's okay. It's easily
So it's a typo
understandable.
that it's impossible.
Yeah. So whoever is taking a screenshot, whoever is writing it down, please make sure it's not possible.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Okay. So that is fine. And what is the
else?
second thing you said? It makes them more organized, planning every step of life.
Yeah.
With the planning can come stress.
Stress. That's
Right.
an obvious byproduct of that. Anxiety, stress,
Yeah.
high expectations. Common
Yeah.
thing in Asian households.
Yeah. So especially our Indian culture.
So that's
Society, family, everyone expects something from
Yeah.
others. So that can actually put them under heavy stress.
So as to say, most of our essays come from our own personal experiences, and rather than going hunting for some ideas, it's better to put yourself in that situation, so as to say.
Yeah, so I would like to ask you a question. It could be completely blunt. Do I need to write an example to this?
Yes, you need to.
Oh, that's not.
And that can be, you have to write it in the first body paragraph,
Yeah.
and then second body paragraph also, if you have one.
So I have to write an example for the advantage.
Yeah.
And I also have to, if I have, it's
Yeah.
it's nice if I
Yeah.
write an example for disadvantage also.
So possible example and advantages, maybe we can take the case of any sports person.
Yeah. So it's better if you write a real time example, right?
Yeah,
Than a conditional imaginary situation.
yeah, and that makes it more relatable, so as to say.
That
And
makes more sense to it.
sense also.
Okay.
And for analytical essays, it's better to write examples which are more factual.
Yeah.
And which are which can be proven for
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be factual.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So we have a couple of more.
Yeah. The third
disadvantages.
one, the chances of going to depression or developing mental disorders.
Oh yeah, in case of failure. So
Failures.
one has to understand that failure is actually a part of success.
Success.
One doesn't succeed without failing.
Yeah.
So if you put this
Anyone
anything-
in a high pressure situation,
yeah,
high chances of failure, depression, mental.
and if they are not really prepared for it,
yeah, so that can come in.
all right, that's a really relevant point.
And then the last one is maybe unrealistic goals can set them up for failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have to be aware about what you can actually achieve,
Okay.
rather than just aiming for the top of every mountain that you climb.
Exactly. There is always a downfall
Yeah.
after a peak.
Yeah,
Right. That is something we need to understand. So feeding only the positive things in someone's head and making them not realizing about the negative side, or it's not negative side,
So-
the obvious, the other side of the coin, obvious side of the coin.
So you don't prepare them for
Failure.
So
Yeah.
that's an even worse
I can go
thing.
wrong. Right. So
So-
that is awesome.
So that's about it. And the thesis in our introduction actually selected only a few points from these possible ideas. So your thesis should vary according to the points that you have. So that is something you have to be very careful about.
Yeah, so if you are choosing 2 points or some random points from this, your thesis has to change
Has to
accordingly.
change accordingly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's dependent on what points that you write.
Yeah, so that is not a permanent
No,
fixed
that's
thesis.
not a static thing.
Yeah.
It is dynamic.
So you can't just copy paste.
You cannot copy paste.
Yeah, so students, you have to understand that you can't just copy paste the thesis and paste it in all the analytical essays that you get. It's a static, it's a dynamic
Dynamic,
one.
yeah.
It's not a static. Static means something that remains unchanged consistently. Dynamic is something that undergoes changes.
It's subject to change.
Subject to change.
Yeah.
So understand that and don't copy paste. Understand the technique of writing it and then use it. All right.
Yeah.
So do we have a conclusion?
Let's give that as a task for those who are watching.
Oh yes. So we have already given you ideas on how to write an introduction.
Yeah.
We have given you ideas on advantage and disadvantage. So it is your task to make it an essay, write it down, and then also we're not giving you a conclusion. Okay, make a conclusion. That is the task for the day.
Yeah. But we have already discussed how to write an effective conclusion, so it should not be a difficult task, I believe.
Yeah, it's a task,
It's a task.
not difficult.
Not difficult.
Okay, so let's move on.
Let's move on to the next category,
Oh yeah.
causes and solutions. So here again the basic structure is the same.
Structure remains the same.
Yeah, but in body paragraph 1 you're going to write 2 causes, and body paragraph 2 you're going to write 2 solutions which are relevant to the causes.
Okay, so you can't write some random general solutions.
No, you can't.
You have to write the solutions that are relevant to the causes that you write.
Yeah, so that is where your task response comes in.
Okay.
So very important, kindly keep that in mind.
Yeah, so just this part is very, very important. Solution has to be relevant to the causes
That are mentioned.
Yeah. So please keep in your mind, okay? Just writing. When you get a question like this, people generally write, okay, causes. Somehow I want to find two causes, and they write 2 causes, and now they think about the solutions. You don't have to think about the solutions. You have to think about the solutions
Relevant solutions to
for the causes that you write.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move on.
So now let's move on to one example now.
Yeah, so what is it? Many doctors recommend that older people exercise regularly, but most patients do not follow an exercise routine. Why do you think this happens? How can people be encouraged to exercise regularly? Okay, so here nowhere you can see the word cause or solution.
Yeah. But then
You need to understand.
You need to understand that.
So the main topic, the statement is that many doctors recommend that older people exercise regularly, but most patients, now that is a very tricky statement, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's most patients, but then we
You
have
need to understand that the most patient mentioned here are actually
the older people. Yeah.
no one else.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't come up with only patients.
Yeah, because that makes it irrelevant, so
Yeah.
as to say. Yeah.
All right,
And,
and why do you think this happens? What is the cause of it?
what is the cause of it? What is the cause?
How can people be encouraged to exercise regularly? How can you overcome?
So that's a solution.
Okay, cause and solution. That is nice.
So like before, we'll present an introduction.
Oh
for
yes,
this, yeah.
we have an introduction. So what does it say? A proper exercise regimen is vital to ensure good health of every individual across various age groups.
So here we have now, so as to say, given a statement about exercise, the importance of exercise,
Yeah.
which is the focus of the topic.
Yeah, so the
Because-
statement talks about that.
Yeah, though there it is the exercise for older people, but again then we have said that exercise is essential for every age group.
Exactly.
So now we can lead the reader to our particular topic.
Okay, so the general statement is about exercise.
Yeah.
So this is the general statement. Okay, now things are getting more and more clear. And the second sentence, doctors now suggest that regular exercise is essential for older adults, but mostly this is not adhered to.
Yeah. So there we have addressed that most of the patients do not follow an exercise routine, and we have paraphrased that.
Yes, so that's the paraphrasing. And now we have thesis. There are various causes for this reluctance, especially lack of certified trainers to handle this age group and anxiety about risks to health by doing strenuous exercise. These can be resolved by training professionals to look after requirements of this group of people by conducting awareness programs about the benefits of exercise.
So that removes the reluctance, so as to say.
Yes. So actually, there are two sentences in thesis, right? Exercise, and from there till here. So one sentence talks about the causes, and the other sentence talks about
Possible solutions.
That's awesome. That's a great way to write a thesis.
Yeah. So this is rather than writing a regular run-of-the-mill thesis like this essay discusses stuff like that, something different. Something that catches the eye of the reader, so as to say, or your examiner if it's an exam.
So for our students, this is a fantastic, great example on how to write a thesis. Okay, so learn it and practice it. It comes naturally as you practice over time.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's go.
So now let's go to the possible ideas, and already the one we have given the thesis. Yeah. So lack of certified trainers who have expertise in handling the requirements of this age group. So
right. So we have certified trainers concentrating more on youngsters.
Yeah, even all the ads for gymnasiums or health centers have young people or at the most middle-aged people in their ads.
So generally elders tend to think that okay, that's only for youngsters. If I go there, there are high chances for me to
get
end
injured.
Up
Get injured. Yeah.
So that is one, lack of trainers, particularly for that age group.
Then anxiety about possible health issues due to exercise, and maybe this is more prevalent in people who have already existing conditions like maybe heart disease or diabetes or hypertension or something like that.
Yeah, what will happen to me if I do it?
Yeah, what will happen to me if I exercise? Will that aggravate my condition?
Worsen it.
Yeah, worsen it. Yeah. So anxiety.
Okay, and the third one?
Absence of peer group. This happens if people, older people live alone.
Yeah.
Live alone. Mostly they are all retired and they are now away from their peer group. They don't have friends to socialize with. So they feel reluctance to go for exercise.
Yeah, they feel completely disconnected from all this.
From the real world. So they don't prefer to go for exercises.
Yeah, kind of a feeling of being alienated.
Yeah. So
all right.
All relevant things in the current social scenario too.
Okay.
And the last one, lack of motivation.
Too obvious, right? But then that is most important thing.
It's lack of motivation is there in all age groups.
Yes.
Especially that peaks around New Year.
Yeah.
We take resolutions to go for exercise. Day one we may go.
Yeah, we don't show that same motivation that's made us take the resolution to continue that.
Yeah, there's even a joke that the most resolutions happen in the case of going to the gym.
Oh yes, 100%.
So then
we decide to go to a gym because it's a fancy thing. Because you see all the actors with six-pack abs and fit body, and we all want it, and you just think of going there, but then you don't understand how important it is to stick with the regime and have a consistency towards it. Okay.
And if youngsters have lack of motivation, there's no no doubt that even older people, because they are already retired, they want to live a peaceful life. Don't want to get involved in all these hectic schedules, so as to say.
Right. So these are the main causes.
Yeah.
Possible causes why they prefer not to exercise or they don't exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we need to find solutions.
Some solutions to these problems.
So the solutions, the most important thing, as we have discussed, your solutions have to be completely relevant to the causes.
The causes. So the
first one,
obviously specified courses and training programs for professionals, especially health professionals.
Yeah.
So as to educate them about the requirements of this particular age group of people.
Oh yes. So first of all, you need to make them understand why it is important.
Yeah.
And why, how it can help them to lead a healthy life.
Yeah. So so as to say, the trainers need to be trained about the requirements of. So maybe the one mold doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
So the older people have some requirements of their own.
They have their own mindsets.
And they have the physical stamina, all
yeah.
differs. So you need specific training.
And you can't ask them to have the same diet as a youngster
or the
do it.
same set of exercises.
Yeah. So everything has to be changed.
It has to be changed.
So trainers have to be trained.
Yeah.
Right.
So the next one is awareness about the benefits of exercise, and reassure them about the minimal risk under proper supervision. So for example, let's say you have a heart condition that doesn't allow you to get too strained.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell the older person that we'll be supervising you always.
And
we will
monitor monitoring their heart condition.
So try to reassure them in a way. Yeah.
That is important. Now the third one.
Then form groups of similar age people with similar interests and who are preferably living the same locality. So the problem of not having a peer group is solved then.
Yeah. So socializing basically.
They can socialize over weekends and perform tasks with common interests, like maybe go for a nature trail or something like that in a park, or maybe form a laughter club. That's too common.
Oh yes, yes. Going out for a walk and doing small things like playing badminton with the same age group people.
Even these laughter clubs are now.
Laughter clubs are now these days popping up a lot.
Yeah, you can see them randomly in any park.
Yeah.
So exciting.
That's something really nice to see, right?
Yeah. So it gives a positive frame of mind for everyone.
Yeah. And the last point.
Last one is okay. For those who don't find motivation, maybe you can organize smaller tasks for them.
Yeah.
With smaller goals.
Very easy things.
Easily attainable goals, so that they don't feel demotivated.
To help them stick with the topic.
So that helps them to stick to the regimen and improve their health in a way.
That's really nice. All right. So I think we have provided all the necessary points.
Yeah.
You just need to. We have given you 4.
Yeah.
Now it is your duty to write an essay.
An essay.
With a conclusion. We are not providing conclusions.
Yeah.
That is a task for the day, as we mentioned. Now I think we can move on to the next one.
Next category, I think the last one. So problem and solution also has a structure similar to the causes and solutions. So
basically, analytical essay section, the entire section has one particular structure.
Yeah. So this has 2 body paragraphs. It's a 4-paragraph essay.
4-paragraph essay.
Yeah.
Okay. So introduction, body paragraph 1 talks about problems.
Yeah.
Second talks about solutions, very similar to cause and effect. Cause and solution. Okay.
Then here also the solution should be relevant to the problem that is.
Yeah, you shouldn't just write random solutions, general solutions.
Yeah.
You have to write the solutions to the problems that you wrote or that you write in the first paragraph.
Yeah. So now here also let's take a question.
Okay. Nowadays, many people have access to computers on a wide basis, and a large number of children play computer games. What are the negative impacts of playing computer games, and what can be done to minimize the bad effects?
Okay, contemporary topic, I believe.
It's a contemporary topic, but then it's too it is very common these days. I think it's very relevant to the society.
It is. More so during the pandemic, everyone was glued to their screens, be it a mobile screen or a laptop or anything.
I think that was the time where a lot of kids experienced anxiety, addiction. When people are talking about addiction to the substances, but we often don't understand the addiction that happens to the gadgets that we have.
True, very true. And from what I have heard, some of them had to go for an actual detox, digital detox, so as to say, so that's
called a dopamine detox, I guess. You have to get detoxed from all the things that give you dopamine.
Yeah. So, or problems. So now let's go for the introduction for this.
Oh, this looks pretty big fat introduction.
Yes. So the ubiquitous presence of computers and other digital devices have ensured their widespread use among all age groups, especially children. So now you have addressed that now you have mentioned that you're going to address something relevant to children and the use of digital devices.
Okay, so my first question.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of that big word?
That means that the presence everywhere.
All right,
The universal presence of the
everywhere.
Yeah.
Inevitable yeah.
presence. Yeah. So
Presence of computers and other digital devices has ensured their widespread use among all age groups, especially children. That's a great way to start a sentence, right?
Yeah,
I mean essay.
So then
So that is a general statement. Let's mark so that our students understand. Okay, this from here till here is our general statement. If you read it, you can understand what is coming.
Yeah. So as to say, you're going to address something related to children and the use of computers, but not specifically games or something like that.
Yeah.
But something that is related to children and the use of computers. So this
Yeah.
is what a general statement actually.
Computers and other digital devices
Yeah,
like
so
gadgets.
Maybe mobiles or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is how you deliver a general statement, so as to say.
Yeah. And the second one, it is commonly noticed that children prefer to play computer games than indulging in outdoor sports.
Here we have tried to do something different in paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Like we've introduced something like indulging in outdoor sport. So as to say, we are trying to emphasize that they are holed up in their homes and they are just playing on computers.
Yeah, so when you talk about a large number of children playing computer games, which means they're not indulged in playing outside.
So this is something different that we have tried out in this essay.
So pay closer attention to this, how we have paraphrased the question. You don't have to literally just take the words, change the words in the same sentence and write it. That is too obvious of a paraphrasing. That is not how you actually paraphrase. You understand the meaning of it and then write it in your own words, maybe a lot better than how the question is arranged.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Okay.
which makes it clear what you're going to address in that question. Yeah?
Okay, and
So then now we shift to our thesis, I believe, right? So there are so many problems associated with this trend, especially in the increasing addiction to such games is lack of socialization. So most prominent cause,
yes.
most prominent problem among children, and health issues in this volume. So again, health issues like issues to the eyesight, and muscle weakness due to prolonged inaction or maybe inactivity of muscles. So all these health issues crop up when you remain immobile for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And basically they become couch potatoes.
Yeah, so as to say.
Yeah. And
again, solutions.
these can be rectified by involving children in community activities and discouraging overuse of digital devices. Right.
Yeah, so you're involving them in some activity which involves more children of the same age group, probably, or maybe closer age groups.
Basically to make them understand that there is also fun available outside the screens.
Yeah, there's a life outside of all these devices. So something like that.
And second, also proper awareness campaigns about ill effects due to lack of exercise and problems to eyesight can also be highlighted. Oh yes, these days I think a lot of kids have eyesight problems.
Yeah, they probably have to wear spectacles at the age of 4 or 5, so more problematic.
That happens because of the lifestyle and the addictions like this.
Computers and
all right, so this introduction actually gives you a complete idea about what you can expect in the coming paragraphs.
Yeah.
And the intensity of what is coming.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So now let's again brainstorm for some ideas.
All right. So what could be the first, as we said, addiction.
Obvious one. The addiction. Yeah.
Addiction is one of the most obvious things of this.
And lack of socialization. They don't know their family members. More common now, and they don't want to mingle with anyone, even people of their own age groups.
Yeah,
so
and
totally cut off from the real world.
That is the first point. So second one, if you ask me what could I feel about this, See, I feel that there is this stimulated, augmented reality that they get accustomed to, used to it,
Yeah.
and they think that makes more sense than what we are here, and they learn their lifestyles, their things, and superpowers and stuff like that.
Yeah, to quote something, I think they think that their avatars are more
More real than the real.
their real self. So that is the more important thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so-
that makes it here. Violent computer games or those containing crime can influence the children in a negative manner.
manner. So they feel maybe if the game is about a gangster or gangster wars or something like that, they feel that they have to enact that
Yeah,
scenario.
so they actually bring up all the characters with high swag
Yeah.
and trendy music,
trendy music and rule breakers. So as
rule
to-
breakers, yeah.
something like that. So,
So they
feel this is the norm.
impersonate
Yeah.
all those things,
So they feel this is the norm and this has to be followed in real life.
and that goes wrong.
That goes wrong. Terribly
Okay.
wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Okay, so and health issues, obvious problem.
Yeah.
Eyesight,
Yeah.
muscle weakness, muscle wastage.
Yeah. So I think we have already mentioned, we have given a glimpse of these points in the thesis.
In the
itself.
thesis, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that's why I mentioned earlier your thesis should be dynamic according to the points that you had. So here we are giving points which are not mentioned in the thesis.
So the reader
Those are
would
the exam,
automatically feel that this is what I've read at the beginning.
so that is the point of a thesis.
That's nice.
And then obvious one again, diversion from academic activities, poor grades and inability to complete their education. That's that flows from all this. So
And eventually ends up in a depression cycle.
it's a vicious cycle. So
Yeah. So these are the
all right.
possible
So possible ideas. Yeah.
ideas, problems
And,
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's find out the solutions.
So the most
Yeah.
common one or most obvious one,
Mm.
to encourage children to indulge in sports activities and discourage them from spending continuous time on computer games.
Right. That is, I think it's more of an awareness program. Okay, and changing their lifestyle,
Yeah.
habits and routines.
And here maybe some tough love would be required.
Oh yes,
So
you need to be little heartless
Yeah.
with all of your
Maybe-
wholeheartedly heartless
maybe play the bad cop once in a while.
once in a while.
So yeah.
Okay, and involve them in activities that require socialization with friends and family. Right, absolutely.
So then
Second one.
this is also something that is important. You have to introduce a rating system depending on the age group. Say for example, if 12-year-old child is playing a game, so they should play games which are specific for that age group.
Okay, there is
So which has less violence or stuff like that.
like the movies are what do you
Rated,
call it?
yeah.
What do you call it? We have a panel for it.
Like the censor board.
Censor board, yeah. I think games are supposed to be
Yeah,
censored.
in Western countries this is followed, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, they are. It is. So they have a 16 plus, 12 plus category and stuff like that. So that has to be adhered to.
Okay.
Uh,
And awareness campaigns
about this medical issues probably.
Hmm. And this is very important. I think it has to be implemented in schools and generally everywhere,
Yeah.
even in TVs.
Yeah. So where children spend time, for example, they spend more time in school. So when they reach school, so probably emphasizing that this point there might be really helpful. And if teachers say something, then that gives it more seriousness, so as to say,
Yeah.
and more heft to that idea.
Yes. So I think a statutory warning has to be.
Yeah.
So if you show an advertisement of a game in a TV, you have to mention that it can cause serious health issues and it is very addictive.
Like the tobacco campaign.
Tobacco campaign. I think it has to be there.
And the last one, so
Allocate time.
time for studies and for leisure. So this is probably a good way to ensure that they have fun as well as they study, because the all work and no play is also not good thing.
Yeah.
So they should have some time for leisure or for fun.
Yes.
So if you allocate say 1 to 2 hours for that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that relaxes them
Yeah.
and makes them more interested to study also.
Yeah. So
that
they understand whatever happens, I have 1 hour to
1
play.
hour to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, and for this maybe the point that I mentioned earlier would be effective at that maybe parents need to play the bad cop here
Yeah.
sometime.
100%.
And they need to ensure this, but demarcation of time very essential, as it provides them time for studies as well as time for fun.
100%. So I think we are done with the analytical essay
Yeah,
so far.
so-
So technical team, can you pull down the what do you call it, presentation? That's as important. All right. So let's come back to the reality. Let's understand that's what we have discussed. Let's take a quick recap of what we have discussed so far.
Okay. So discussion today focused on analytical essays, possible introduction points for analytical essays.
So we firstly spoke what is an analytical essay, right? So what is it once again? Let's take a quick
So
glance
an
of-
analytical essay analyzes or gives an analysis about a topic.
looks at two sides of
Yeah.
a sentence or a statement.
Yeah, so it can be either an advantage or disadvantage, a cause as a solution, a problem or a solution. So these are the
Okay.
types.
Right. So you look at all these things.
Yeah.
And the structure is very simple, 4-paragraph essay.
So you're going for an introduction, you're going for a body paragraph 1, which can be an advantage, cause or a problem. Then you're going for a body paragraph 2, which can be a disadvantage, solution or a...
Okay, so we don't need the presentation now. You can just close it. We're done with it. Okay, so that is done, and we have also discussed about 3 types of questions.
Yeah.
These are the only 3 types of questions that can come under analytical essays.
Yeah.
So advantage, disadvantage, cause and solution,
Yeah.
problem and solution. For all 3, like we said, the structure is same.
Same.
And we gave examples, and as well as you have a task now. You have to write 3 essays. Introduction is given already, body paragraphs, we have given points on body paragraphs, 4 each, right? So you have to write that essay, and the task for you is to write
Good,
yeah,
legible.
a legible conclusion, adequate conclusion to that essay, right? So I hope that is good enough.
Yeah. And I believe you have some tips for how to improve writing.
Right. So see, improving writing. See, if someone learns the structure of it, and that someone starts writing the essay, right? You're writing the essay really good, but then the quality of your essay is based on how well can you construct sentences, the way you constructed sentences. Your quality of the essay has to be improved over time.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what is more important. So how effectively you can use different sentence structures, I think that's your forte.
Yeah, so basically when you write an essay, see, when you write anything, you need to understand that you are writing it for the reader, not for you.
Yeah.
So anytime you write it, you always have an image of the reader. So how do you want the reader to perceive your essay?
Yeah.
So if you want your reader to be wow, now you need to include different types of sentences. One particular type of sentences or having a limited range of sentences won't make the reader impressed.
Yeah.
So you need to have a wide variety of sentences.
So is this the reason why students maybe fall short of their required score, maybe 5.5?
Sir, that is a really interesting question, but then I'll tell you one most important problem.
Yeah.
A good essay, when you look at it from a reader's perspective, a good essay needs to have good sentences, good vocabulary, decent language, and also decent spellings,
Yeah.
good handwriting. You can't insist everyone to have good handwriting, but then a decent handwriting is always a plus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And spellings, yes, a person writes an impeccable essay and everything is on point, but then that person has a habit of writing children's and people's,
Most common error.
right?
Yeah.
The score goes suddenly drops down to 6 or 6.5 and it doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Right? So
most common mistakes, I believe, children's people, then spellings of believe, achieve.
Attitude.
Is there an I before an E before an I?
Yeah. Receive.
Yeah, receive,
Attitude.
attitude,
Yeah.
committed, all these spellings.
Yeah, so I generally suggest our students to stop using word suggestions when they message their friends. You have to switch off the dictionary and switch off the word suggestion and type words manually, and then you understand you have a confusion between these two words.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, old-fashioned way. You write it down and then you understand and you never make a mistake and you appreciate yourself and you need to pay attention to your linguistic ability and then work over time. And then see, now you can't ask everyone to sit with a pen and a paper, because students generally find it as a Herculean task, even in our institutions, right? So I think that's a problem with all the students. They don't like to write.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great that they're writing at least 1 hour a day. We can't ask for more from these students, but then we can ask our students to develop a habit of writing sentences without writing. We all have gadgets in our hands. I think they should message their friends who know English in English,
Yeah.
and then work towards improving.
And avoid using short forms. Or
Yes, very important. You're not supposed to use short forms. Don't write BTFL and call it beautiful. It is BTFL. All those things.
So, I think that will be all. We'll wind
Yeah,
up
I
this
think
session. I think you've done a comprehensive summary. Or
yes, and I hope it was a really helpful discussion,
Yeah.
and you got 3 ideas. You have a lot of words. You can see sentence structures in the sample essays that Sir has put up with, and I think it's good to go.
Yeah. So I think we'll be coming further with other essay types. In the
Yes, and the
next
most
class
important thing that I wanted to mention was about the results.
session. Yeah.
We've
Oh,
got
that we didn't forget. That
Yes.
Very important one. Yeah.
We've got fantastic results on IELTS and OET, and we've been really happy. So everything is going on, and once again there is a recruitment happening on 14th and 15th, Monday and Tuesday, and delegates from UK are coming down, especially for nurses and who have 1 year of experience in specific settings like oncology, pediatric, OT, ICU and CCU, and also for general nurses if they have 1 year of experience, but these settings are more preferred.
Priority.
They have more priorities, and that is happening in our corporate office in Cochin, right
14
here.
and 15. So please don't forget those dates.
And it's the eligibility is that minimum 1 year experience, OET or IELTS cleared with a UK
Required
score.
score.
Yeah, required score. So welcome all, make the best use of it, and like you said, they'll get offer letter right then and there if they clear the interview. Okay, so it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. Please make use of it, and we hope that the discussion was quite useful, and we will come up with more topics.
Yeah, I
right?
think that will happen soon.
Very soon.
Okay,
So wish you all the best, and
best
thank you.
All the best for your preparation. Thank you.